Hello, Instagram family. I think we are live on Facebook and YouTube. I went back, just so you guys know. If you noticed on Instagram, or not Instagram, but Facebook and YouTube, there's this little icon at the top that says powered by Restream. That's the company I went back to. Let me tell you why, okay? I'm not saying I don't like vMix, which is the program we use for church. I think that it's fine for doing what it does. Here's the cool thing that I like about Restream is that chats. I don't have to check and see. So like I already see that Belle is saying hi. So hi, Belle. So I'm super excited about that. I love it that where I can do it like this, for the church aspect, we put it out there and, we can jump in on the comments and see things. But me interacting with you guys one-on-one, doing this stuff every morning, man, this is the way it's got to be. So I get to see it. I don't have to try to jump on all the different places and have like multiple screens going to try to see who's commenting and what's going on. There's some really cool, interesting aspects of this program that I'm going to start diving into now that I'm sold on it. I'm just going to stick with it, and we're going to use it. So I'm really excited about doing it. There's some other options in the professional version. So, we'll see. I'm going to sneeze in like crazy this morning. My allergies and sinuses are just killing me. I took some medicine. Now it's all draining. So I don't have corona. I'm just have allergies. So don't be worried about that. So Belle and Ashlyn both ask how we're doing in ways, right? What up? I'm good. Like I'm tired. Timothy has decided that he doesn't really like to sleep in his crib now. So he learned how to climb out of the crib. And so we tried some different things, putting like a big futon mattress on the ground and letting him like literally have almost his entire room covered in mattress. He didn't like that. That was terrifying him. So he'd wake up in the middle of the night screaming. So then I'd end up sleeping on the futon mattress with him, which is fine. That's what I slept on for a long time in my life. So I'm not worried about the futon mattress. But you just don't get as good sleep when you've got a kid kicking you all through the night. So, shout out to you pregnant ladies that get kicked all the time. I'm sure it's different when it's inside too. That's weird. Anyway, I'm doing good. I'm excited. I got a lot of projects to do. I'm swamped, which is a great thing because I've got all of the stuff for the youth to get figured out. We still got to get food, right? You guys want to eat on the retreat. So I know what we're going to eat. I just got to get the shopping list together and then the stuff for the games because you guys want to play some games, right? So getting those done. I was hoping tomorrow I'm going to have a surprise. It's Thursday today, I think. Hopefully it's Thursday today. I will have a surprise for you guys tomorrow if you show up at 10 o'clock. So please do that. I will have a surprise for you. Today, let's turn to Genesis chapter 12. I'm doing this is something, this specific challenge to you this morning is something that I hold dear to me. I know I say sometimes, and I feel like I say that a lot, but I truly do. This challenge and this concept, and when I read it and then I'm reminded of it, if you've been in church a couple times lately, we've talked about just the idea of being reminded about things. I think it was one of the last outdoor services that we did. RT, brought us, the challenge to just be reminded of these things. And so it's really good to be reminded constantly, even if you've heard something before. It's why you never turn your brain off or turn your ears off, even when you think you heard it, because you could see something new. And if not, you just get reminded, and that's a good thing. So anyway, Genesis chapter 12. This is how Genesis chapter 12 starts. Now the Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you." Here's what I want you to understand. God shows up to Abram, right? So we see all of this stuff. When you're looking at Genesis, you see the account of how creation happened. You got Noah, you got the flood, you got everything being destroyed. You get the Tower of Babel where the people get dispersed, and boom, we get what we call races not races, all from Noah, all from Adam and Eve. But they get dispersed. So now we have all these cultures that are getting created, all of these things that are getting done because people are going in different places. People are living in different things, and God's helping them. God's doing things to their bodies to make them different so they can adapt to the places that they are going to be settling in. This is how we get different skin colors and how we get different attributes to our bodies and things of that nature, all happening from the Tower of Babel. Before then, all Noah's kids, probably looked similar. But after this, everything starts changing. And we get all the way. So all of that is condensed in the first 12 chapters of Genesis. There's so much there. It's incredibly huge amount of information that we get from Genesis 1 to Genesis 11 because we get literally the start of the world, right? We talked yesterday, the day before, about the eternity of God. So he's been there, but he's creating the world and he's letting us know everything that happened. So nothing's there. World shows up. Lots of people start being born. And because of that, a lot of things happen because people are people, right? I mean, it didn't take very long for Cain to kill Abel. And so, I mean, it was very quick in that sense that people started becoming people and doing what people do, and that's hurting other people. And so we see this, and this gets really, really bad. And that's the history of what's going on. And God looks down and goes, this is the people have gotten really, really bad. Now, granted, we can look into this, and I can talk to you all day about sovereignty and God's wisdom and God's omniscience. He was not surprised by the amount of evil that was in the world, but he came through and he was like, we're going to destroy it. We're going to start over and we're going to do this. But then he saw Noah and he knows Noah and he knows he's there. And he's like, this guy's righteous though. There's only one. And so think about this. All of the people in the world, and the world was populated, right? It was populated. And there was one righteous person. One. We think our world is bad now. We think the things that we are doing now are wicked, and some of them really are. We have some things that are really bad. But think about this. One good person. One. Now, we can look in our lives and we can find multiple good people. I can tell you of people in my life that are good, that are righteous, that are living their lives in honoring of God and trying to do the best they can. Are they perfect? No, I would not put them on that pedestal because that's a pedestal they can't live up to. But are they righteous? Are they living towards God? Are they giving everything to God? Yes, they are. And I can find people in my life. And I know there's other people that can. There was one in the world. That was Noah. So I'm done with the recap. Noah happens. The flood happens. Noah gets saved. Tower of Babel. Everyone gets off the ark, right? Noah's family gets off the ark. They start having tons of kids. Lots of kids everywhere. Everyone's having kids. And there's a lot of people, and the people are all staying in this one spot. Now, that's not what God told him to do when he got off the ark. He said, go, disperse, multiply, bear fruit, get away, have fun, live your lives, do good things. And they didn't. They stayed, right? They're already not obeying God. And they try to build this tower, blah, blah, blah. God says, no, it's not the way it's going to happen. So he separates everybody. So then you start seeing all of the separation. Then we hone in on one particular person, and that is Abram. And this is the only thing that we know about Abram. We know where he was from. We know that he didn't have any kids at this point. He's sitting around and he's in this specific land. We know all that. God shows up to Abram and says, go from your country and to your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. Now, here's something I want you to notice about this first and foremost. Abraham was able to hear God speak, which means that he was sensitive. Now, Scripture is completely full of truths and wisdoms to say that people don't come to God unless God goes to them first. But there are a lot of times where God goes to somebody and the person is just not willing to listen. God opens himself. God talks to that person. God invites that person, and the person just says no. That's not what Abraham does. He listens. He hears God. And then we jump to verse 4, right? And so God gives him a promise, but, he says, go from your country, your kindred, your father's house to the land that I will show you. He's saying, take yourself and leave everything you know. I'm going to make something really good out of you, but I don't want you to take anything. And Abram, in verse 4, says, so Abram went as the Lord had told him. Now, this is the challenge. First off, are you listening for God to tell you something? Are you listening to God speaking to you? Are you listening for what he has to say? He will talk to you. He will tell you things. We've talked about it before, listening to the Spirit, being open to hearing what the Spirit says, doing all of those things. Like we've discussed that before. And my first challenge is don't forget that. Be sensitive. Be willing to listen and hear when God speaks. But here's the main challenge we get from this verse. When God tells you to do something, go and do it. Just go. So Abram went as the Lord told him. God said, go. Abram said, okay. Where am I going? That way. Okay. Do I need to bring anything? No. Okay. What am I going to do? Go that way. Okay. Like he didn't know everything. Like he didn't understand all of the stuff that was going to happen. He didn't know how you going to survive. How am I going to make food? How am I going to live? Where am I going to sleep? What am I going to do? What if I come across raiders? I'm not a fighter. I'm not a warrior. What's going to happen? He didn't know all those things. And here's the cool thing. He didn't ask. You look back at when Moses was told, hey, go to Pharaoh and say these things. Moses went, whoa. Hold on. I'm not sure about this. I'm not a good speaker. I can't speak. I can't go in front of Pharaoh. God says, no, I'm going to give you the words to say. Well, who am I going to say sent me? Like I've been there before. Like I grew up there and I did some bad things. Who am I going to say sent me there? And he has all these questions and God's constantly answering. And finally, God just looks and says, stop. All right, we're done. Go. I told you to go. Go. Moses says, oh, okay, I'll go. I'm not dissing Moses, right? Moses was an absolutely fantastic person. If you want to read somebody that just had a heart and a relationship with God, there are multiple people in the Bible, but Moses is definitely one of them. God just loves Moses and Moses loves God. And there's a relationship there that's so totally different, even from Abram. But you get the picture here that Abram doesn't question God. He just says, go. And Abram says, okay, I'll go. Now, our day and our world, like so many times when God tells us to do something, we're like, but God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I remember when, there's a lot of different questions I could ask myself or situations I could find myself in that I'm like, God, I know you're telling me to do this, but how? How am I supposed to do that? When I first took over the youth group over at the other church, it was, God, why? Well, why me? Why? I don't know if I want to do this. I'm not trained. I don't have a degree in this. And, I never did that. I never got that degree. I don't have time to go get a degree, stop my life and do that. And God says, I didn't ask you to do all that. I told you to go. And go open the doors and I want you to go that way. And I'm like, okay, but I'm getting ready to get married. And this is literally right before I was getting married. And I wasn't even engaged yet when I took the job. I knew I was going to be. She didn't, but I did. And I'm like, man, I'm going to get engaged. I'm going to get married. And you want me to start a youth group? You want me to create one? I know there's one there, but you want me to run it? And yeah, I do. Okay. All right, I'll do that. And then it came time to leave, and I didn't want to leave. Anna didn't want to leave. And so there's a lot of situations, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions there. And it was like, but God's like, I'm not asking. I'm telling you, leave. Like your time's done here. I want you to move on. I had to listen. And then I'm sitting at Life Point, and I love Life Point. Look, representing. But I'm sitting there, and the opportunity comes for God to say, hey, through our team, through some other people, like, hey, we need you to come over to your villa. We need you to do a youth pastor thing. I was like, God, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. I had other people come up. Hey, you should do this. People that I trust, people that I respect. Hey, you should do this. All right. I don't understand. That's fine. It's cool. We'll go. And there's been so many opportunities recently when last year when I lost the job, it just didn't get renewed, right? It wasn't that I did anything wrong. But we knew it was coming. We knew it was a contract thing, but there's opportunities. And I just felt God saying, Chris, I don't want you to go back in. I know it doesn't make sense. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be rough, and I know you're going to have to figure out money, and I know how you're going to figure out stuff. And I felt him telling me that. Like, I get it. I know you're going to have to figure all that stuff out. You do what I want you to do. And I've seen God moving so much, and the opportunities now that I'm here at the church and I can help and I can do things. And in the woodworking, it seems like projects come in when they need to come in, and money comes in when it needs to come in. And so, God's just providing. And it's not easy. Like, I mean, there's many days I'm sitting here looking at a computer going, how are we going to pay for bills next week? But it always works, and it always comes through. And so God is so amazing. And God did this with Abram. We can read this story, and God took care of Abram every step of the way. And we see that Abram went through all kinds of situations in his life where God told him to do something that just didn't make sense. Get up and leave everything I know. Yeah, do it. Okay. Sacrifice my only son, the one that you promised. We're old. We don't have many kids and no kids. And you want me to sacrifice this one? Okay. And God didn't let him, but God was testing, God was pushing, God was doing stuff to see, will you listen to me? And man, he blesses, and he does such amazing things. So my challenge to you is to do this, to make sure that you are listening, being sensitive to what God is telling you, and doing what he says. And then the encouragement is just know he's got you. He's stronger, wiser, more powerful than anything that you're going to come across, and whatever he's telling you to do. So when that situation comes where it's like, hey, you need to break up with that boyfriend or girlfriend. It's not a good relationship. But God, I love him, or I love her, or what do you mean? Or these are my feelings. And when God's saying, hey, don't pursue that relationship because it's not biblical. It's not the right standing. And you're like, but my feelings, my heart is this way. And God's, I know, but follow me instead. There's a lot of options like that when it's, hey, go to this school, take this job, be this friend, say this thing. All of these things that God tells us when we're sensitive to him, we can do, and he will give us strength to do it. And even though it's hard, even though it's a challenge. So that's my encouragement, my challenge today. I'm going to stop because I know I'm on for a while. I love you guys so much. Again, come back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm going to have a surprise for you, and another challenge and stuff before we get ready for this weekend. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.